Hey everyone, Clay from Brooklyn, football with the fellas. It's all about Big Blue. Yes, sir. Here I am back again to talk about something that I haven't talked about in a while, which is the NFC East. I'm going to give a little bit of an NFC East report. Um, there's a lot going on in the offseason, obviously, for all four teams, and I like to talk a little bit about them. Oh, by the way, shout out to New York Revival. I'm supporting their merch today. I love the other content providers as well, and nothing but love for y'all. So let's take a look at what the rest of the division has done in the offseason. There's obviously a lot going on for every team, and let's see what they've been doing. So here's a look at the Eagles. They've added some, they've lost some. Let's take a look. Actually, I'm going to start with the losses. They've lost interior defensive lineman Milton Williams, which I think is a bigger loss than people are giving credit for. He's a solid part of their rotation on the interior defensive line. They've lost edge rusher Jalen Phillips, who signed a ridiculously huge contract, and they lost edge rusher Josh Uche, who is nowhere near as well paid as Jalen Phillips, but is also gone. They've lost linebacker Nakobe Dean. They seem to be, putting all their chips on Jihad Campbell and Zach Bond, but Jihad Campbell as the second interior linebacker, excuse me, and they let Nakobe Dean walk. And they lost safety Reed Blankenship, who I think might be a bigger loss than they're giving credit to. And of course, they lost their wide receiver three, Jahan Dotson, who is a solid wide receiver three. I mean, that's not a great player, but that's a very good third best wide receiver to have. And now he's gone. So they've added cornerback Reek Woolen, who just won a Super Bowl ring with Seattle, whose rookie year was outstanding. He's an incredible, incredible fast and was a Pro Bowler his rookie year, but hasn't lived up to that since. And so Seattle, moved on from him. But, as the third best cornerback on this team that already has Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, I can see where he might return to a level of success that I'm not going to be happy about. They also added wide receiver Hollywood Brown, who is, kind of a small, fast, you know, weapon, kind of a Wandale type, although also has been often injured, so never really lived up to his first round draft pick status when he came out. But is a weapon, and again on that team he'll be wide receiver three. So they certainly can find a way to isolate him against the team's third best cornerback, and that's going to be a problem. And they signed an edge rusher named Arnold Ebiketie. I'm not sure exactly how to say his last name, but obviously they lost Jalen Phillips and Josh Uche, so they had to sign somebody, but he is a step down from certainly from Jalen Phillips. But they did add Reek Willen, Hollywood Brown, and Arnold E. So that's what came in the door as opposed to what went out the door. My guess is that their weaknesses and early draft targets are going to be at safety. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade up for Caleb Downs if he's still on the board after, Washington picks, let's say, uh, who picks at 7. Um, and they're probably going to do that or just wait for Dylan Thieneman or McNeil Warren to fall to them. Those are the second and third best safeties on most people's boards in this draft. So my guess is that Quinyon Mitchell's college teammate, McNeil Warren, might be who they wind up with. He's a tall, long safety as well. He didn't test that well at the combine. He ran fairly slow. I think like a 4.53, if I remember correctly. But the tape looks good. Now he was at Toledo, so the tape, obviously is against lesser competition. But we'll see. So I think they're going to look for a safety to replace Reed Blankenship, but you never know with Philly what they're going to do. They have plenty of cap space. They've got $32 million in cap space. Their first round pick is pick number 23. The reason the cap space is important is not only because there's still some free agents out there that, the big ticket guys have gone already, but some of the like second and third tier guys are still out there. But also, if there's a trade that needs to be made, they can take on a fairly big salary fairly easily, not to mention the fact that, Howie Roseman works magic with the cap anyway. But they've got $32 million to play with already. So if somebody big is available to be traded for a veteran with a big contract, they can probably handle it. Okay, as for Dallas, they have added defensive end Rashawn Gary, safeties Jalen Thompson and PJ Locke, and cornerback Kobe Durant. They have lost defensive tackle Osa Odigizua and Solomon Thomas, which are like their interior defensive linemen 3 and 4, because they obviously still have Quinn Williams and Kenny Clark, but still that's their depth and it's gone now. They lost wide receiver Jalen Tolbert, who was their wide receiver three. Um, but he's gone now, and they basically let Logan Wilson and Trevon Diggs walk. They obviously feel like they can do better than that. And, we'll see. But certainly Trevon Diggs has been a feast or famine type cornerback who gives up a lot of touchdowns, but also gets a lot of interceptions. And then apparently got on people's nerves at Dallas, so they ran him out of town. And Logan Wilson is an oft injured, but athletically talented linebacker who they decided to move on for. My guess is that their likely targets are inside linebacker, and or cornerback. So people like Sonny Styles, if he's somehow still on the board after the first 7 or 8 picks, which I seriously doubt, is someone they might trade up for. Likewise, Mansour Delane, the cornerback from LSU that I love. And I can see them taking a shot on rolling the dice on Jamar McCoy's health. This is the guy who didn't play a single snap all year because he tore his ACL last January, but his 2024 tape was outstanding, and people think he's perhaps the best cornerback in this draft. His pro day is March 31st. That's a big day for him. He needs to show the league that he has regained his athleticism. He was at the combine, but didn't do any of the agility drills or 40 time or anything like that. He kind of just did the measurements and I think the bench press. So if he's going to run a 40 and do a vertical leap and the shuttle and the three cone and all those things at his pro day on March 31st, we will learn a lot about where his recovery is. The Cowboys have $14.5 million in cap space, and they have 2 first-round picks number 12 and number 20. So they're in decent position to, sign, trade, whatever with that $12 million. And with with that $14 million, and with pick number 12 and 20, certainly are looking at probably 2 starters in the first round of the draft. As for the Commanders, they added inside linebacker Leo Chenal, who I was really hoping the Giants would have added. It is what it is. They've added edges Odafe Owe and K'Lavon Chaisson, and defensive ends Charles Omenihu, as well as defensive tackle Tim Settle. So they are really making some changes to a defense that was, had some good players. Obviously, they have very good inside linebackers in addition to Leo Chenal. So now they're really strong at inside linebacker. And they obviously have the quarterback. So they also added running back Rachaad White, tight end Chig Okonkwo, and wide receiver Dyami Brown. Oh, and by the way, they added safety Nick Cross. They lost center Tyler Biadasz, cornerback Marshawn Lattimore, and tight end Zach Ertz, who is, I'm not sure if he's retiring, but he had a gruesome injury at the end of the season last year, and he's already fairly old. I don't see any chance he's back by week 1, if at all, this year, and he may just retire. So, what are their likely additions? I'm thinking that Chig Okonkwo was supposed to be the replacement for Zach Ertz, so maybe they're not in a hurry for a tight end, but they probably need a cornerback, a center, an interior defensive lineman, and a safety, and they probably need a left guard. They're not very strong at left guard, so I can also see them trading down and trying to get that Penn State left guard, Ione, I think it's his name. In any event, they have $49 million in cap space, and their first round pick is pick number 7. They picked 2 picks after us. And then here we are. I'm sure you all know what we've added. Edmonds and Likely and Mooney and Austin and Picard and Stout and Washington and Pinnock and Newsome et al. Not to mention the people who were already on our team that we re-signed, like Illuminor and Neil and Azudu, whatever. But we did lose a handful of people, Flott and Wandale and Okereke and Bellinger and Schlotman and long snapper Casey Kreider, which is an annoying loss and an under the radar kind of loss. We need to find somebody to take that job. I think we're going to draft Sonny Styles if he's on the board. I know I would if it were up to me. So I think that's where we're going, inside linebacker, because we certainly could use a second one alongside Edmonds, and Micah McFadden, who is another re-signing of ours, to me is not the answer as full-time, inside linebacker 2. He is not. He's a depth piece. He's a solid depth piece. And if he has to be inside linebacker 2, fine. You could do a lot worse. We did do a lot worse last year, but he's not someone I wouldn't draft over. If Sonny Styles is there, please take him. But if Styles is gone, and I think he probably will be, quite honestly, I can see us going cornerback or with Mansour Delane, or safety with Caleb Downs. I can even see us trading down a few spots and then trying to grab that guard from Penn State, Ione, as I was just mentioning earlier. And my low-key sleeper pick for the first round is Falk. So if Keldrick Falk still is on the board at, say, 9 or 10, if we've traded down, that young man is going to be a beast. And I think in a year or two, we're going to say, how did Keldrick Falk last till whatever pick he lasts till? Because he's going to be a beast. And obviously, at some point, we're probably going to pick a wide receiver too. Although, having just signed Mooney and Austin, maybe that's not as important anymore. In any event, our first round pick is number 5, and we only have $3 million of cap space, which is not very much at all. So that's where things stand in the division. If you are concerned about that, as I am, please do me a favor, grab that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Please drop us a comment, share this with your friends, let people know that we're talking about this because, listen, this is our time. It is a month before the draft, and there's still some free agents out there that need to be signed. There's still some pro days to be watched. We've made some good moves. The team is definitely better on paper, and we're getting some people back, right? Scatterboo Neighbors are coming back from injury. So I think the team's talent level is going to be better week 1 than it was last year. Not drastically better, but better. And I hope that the coaching is significantly better and keeps us from blowing big leads like we did so many times last year. This same team and the same games with the new coaching staff probably would have won 6 or 7 games instead of 4. But then again, if we won 6 or 7 games, maybe Daboll's still here. So, maybe things happen for a reason. In any event, that's what I think. I want to know what you think about what I think. So please drop us a comment. Again, it's Clay from Brooklyn, Football with the Fellas. It is all about Big Blue. And I'm out.